Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sempre Milan bonus podcast on Substack. Mark Twain once said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So, can Milan expect for the same thing to happen in 2025-26 as it did in 2021-22? We're going to look back at some of the key similarities between the two seasons and some of the differences too.
Mine was a little weird there.
No, that's good. That's more of like a...
Is it? I don't know. I think it's straight. I don't know. I wasn't out there.
Happy Friday, first and foremost.
Yeah, and actually, I'm not going to work today, so probably could have gone later, to be honest. Could have gone at an appropriate time, but...
Yeah, we got the game. Game,
exactly.
So this is a good time to go. Yeah. We are recording this bang on 7 hours until we play Pisa away from home at the Arena Garibaldi. I didn't know it was called that until I was doing the preview. Our first game there in 35 years. The last time we played Pisa away, Paolo Maldini scored the winner. Says a lot about how long it's been. But, we previewed that game in the main pod, so we're not going to do too much on that. We're just hoping that we get a nice early present for the weekend, because then we could sit back and watch Inter Juve with, a bit of popcorn in hand. We can watch Roma Napoli, and that's the main one, really. Because I think we say this, don't we? Yeah, we say this all the time. It's like we've got the early game and we can win and put pressure on the others, and either we don't win, first and foremost, or we do win and the others just take care of business anyway. It never seems that these weekends do go in our favour.
Are they on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday night, yeah.
Yeah, I could confidently say I will not be watching Inter Juventus because it is Valentine's Day here.
It is, yeah.
And,
I won't be watching it either.
Good for us.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't let football dictate your happiness, he says, with a ticket right there to go and watch Huddersfield away at Stevenage tomorrow in the lunchtime kickoff. And that there. But going out for tapas instead.
There you go.
Spanish mezza type thing. So, regardless of the result, I'll be having a great time.
Exactly.
And then, we've got Napoli-Roma on Sunday night. I will watch that because... I think there's a bit more in that for us, in terms of distancing ourselves from fifth, which remains the main thing to do. Lazio-Atalanta is tomorrow before into Juve too. That's a little bit more of an afterthought type thing because that is 7th against 8th. But, still, it's a clash between two teams that are in the top 8. So, big weekend opportunity for us. And as the intro alludes to, I sat thinking to myself the other day, also prompted by various articles that have been written through the week, about some of the similarities that have popped up between this season and the last time that we won the league. And now I want to preface this by saying this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win the league. Obviously, there can be coincidences that don't result in the end product being the same. But I do think that it's quite scary, the amount of crossover that there is, the amount of overlap, if you like. So I've written a list of bullet points that I think are fairly solid ones to talk about. Now, you can dispute some of these, and some of them are a little bit more stretched than the other ones in terms of the narrative and the truth, but thought it was fun. So here we go. The first one that I've got...
Should point out as well, I do not know these talking points. Ollie offered to share them with me, and I declined that. So... live reaction to both you and me. Yeah, exactly. Had enough of them.
Yeah. The first one I've got, and I actually think that this one is actually the most wishy-washy one, but just this was the last one that I added, but it's the first chronologically. It's the summer window. So prior to the Scudetto-winning season, the big signing that we made in the summer window cost over 35 million and came from Chelsea. Can you remember who it was in 2021? Is a technicality to this that it was a loan turned into permanent?
Oh, would it have been Tomori?
It was Tomori, yes. The difference in the situation here being it was a no-brainer given how he played in those 6 months on loan to exercise Tomori's option to buy. And the big signing, of course, the summer just gone was Christopher Nkunku for 37 million. And it'd be fair to say that was a bit more divisive and remains divisive as to whether that was the right way to spend the money that we did. However, can't argue the two big signings came from Chelsea in that summer, in terms of expenditure anyway.
That explains why we just keep signing Chelsea players.
It does actually, yeah. Maybe that's what we're doing. We're just going for history repeating itself. It doesn't end there though. We signed probably the most promising domestic midfield talent in each of the summers. So we got Sandro Tonali, of course, before 2021-22. He'd had a good season with Brescia, but he still needed to take that leap. And he had a season of adaptation. And I've put Samuel Ricci down as that for last summer. There may be another midfielder that's Italian that you think is more highly rated, but I couldn't think of one because it's obviously older and not going to come. And
right. Yeah, I mean, if the fact is that they're Italian, then
yes,
you might be right. I don't know if I ever rated Ricci like that, so I don't know. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. There's just a parallel with there's a midfielder there in Serie A that seems to be an easy signing for us, but also quite a good signing, and we did it in both occasions. Again, a little bit of a stretch, this one, but we signed a talent from abroad for close to 10 million that we didn't know anything about, really. So David Odogu, in this case, who we're still yet to see anything from, and in the case of 2021, Yassine Adli. I don't think he'd played a few more games at senior level, it's fair to say, for Bordeaux, but that deal kind of came out of nowhere, if I remember correctly. It was just we're signing him and leaving him on loan at Bordeaux. And it's right, yeah, okay, whatever. Nobody's seen this guy, but we'll go with it. So I thought it was, again, exact same amount. That's a bit of a similarity. And we also made a weird January striker signing in both seasons. So in 2021-22, it was Marko Lazetic from Red Star for a few million. And in this case, it's Niklas Füllkrug, who I don't think he had widespread approval when he arrived. Is that fair comment?
At the very least, the fans were divided.
Yeah, and we nearly signed another number 9 in the same window in Mateta. Right. So that kind of shows what the management thought of their own signing in that way. But yeah, Lazetic ended up contributing absolutely nothing and going. He's now at Aberdeen, I remember seeing recently. And we'll see what comes of Niklas Füllkrug, but he could be another 6 months of promise, and we don't really see him again. Now we move on to some more concrete stuff. Are you happy with it so far? Have we seen the parallels a little bit?
I mean, there are parallels. They're not for like, but there are parallels.
No, and there is some stuff that we did during that the last summer that we absolutely didn't really do in the 2021 window because of how we were run under a different ownership. So obviously we signed Modric and Rabiot. I don't think that those two signings would have been made under Elliott. However, I did nearly draw a parallel between Modric and Giroud in terms of coming in to be kind of the experienced leader who's won everything, big game performer, that type thing. So you could chuck that there if you want. So the other thing, of about 6, position at this stage of the season. So we are currently 8 points behind Inter, but we have a game in hand. It's against Como, so it's not a guaranteed win. But let's say, realistically, we're 5 points on paper, all things equal. And we have a potentially crucial derby upcoming, with that being the gap. After 23 games of the Scudetto-winning season, which is how many we've played now, we were 4 points behind Inter and level with Napoli. Ooh. So, basically the same, right? You can't argue with that. That's stats, innit, really?
Where did Napoli finish in our Scudetto year? Was that the year they
dropped off, didn't they?
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Was that the final day they missed Champions League?
No, I think they got in.
Was that the season prior?
Let me just look up the table here. I should have looked this up. Obviously, we won the league in the final game of the season by 2 points. Napoli finished 3rd with 79. So they finished 7 behind.
The year prior, they were 5th.
Yeah, they got into the Champions League comfortably in the end by 15 points. So, yeah, it was that. And it was sort of where we're at, all nice and close and congested. The same 3 teams once again, with Inter leading the way and probably expected by the bookmakers to win because everybody's regarding them as the best squad. And it's the same storyline as we approach this final part of the season. But there's that derby again. Now we know that it was Giroud around a similar time in the Scudetto winning season with his brace against Inter that kind of swung the Scudetto in our favour. It's a bit later that we're playing